Hello and welcome. I'm Anita from Yoga on the Road. Thank you so much for joining me today for a slow flow yoga that invites you to build strength and increase your flexibility. The beauty about slowing down a practice is it makes the practice more well informed and gives you a greater capacity to connect with your body. I have had students tell me that slowing a practice down in some ways makes it a lot more difficult. Going slow can sometimes feel more strenuous. It can sometimes feel harder. But the beauty about that is, like I said, it gives you that time to really hone in on and notice what your body is feeling. The other thing that I like about the concept of slowing a yoga salutational practice down is that these principles can also be kind of carried into your everyday life, realizing that by slowing life down, you have the capacity to achieve so much more in such a more productive way. I'm not sure if you've ever heard the term slow is fast, but I learned this term as a skydiver. And basically the principles were that with slowing things down, you take a way more deliberate and methodical approach to processes. And that makes your results way more effective. It means that we're not rushing, we're giving ourselves the time. So for this practice today, it is a go slow flow. I'm going to encourage you to have a couple of blocks with you for some modifications, and that is all that you will need today. So start by coming to a standing position at the top of your mat. Ensure that your feet are a hip distance apart and the toes are slightly pointed in and the heels ever so slightly pointed out. Connect with your feet to the ground and then ensure your ankles are stacked over the feet, the knees are stacked over the ankles, the hips are stacked over your ankles, your shoulders are stacked over your hips, your head is stacked over your shoulders, and then reach out through the crown of your head. Have a feeling of engaging your thighs, and sometimes it can help to imagine just lifting the kneecaps ever so slightly. Take a big breath in, and with your breath, expand or lift the arms all the way up towards the ceiling and looking up if it's okay for your neck. As you exhale, have a feeling of softening a little through the shoulders, drawing the shoulders down away from the ears. Take another deep and full breath in, noticing what area the breath fills in your body. And as you exhale, soften, release the hands to the heart. With your hands to your heart, you might like to take a moment to close down your eyes and just set an intention for your practice. Something that you wish to take away from your practice today. Take one more full and deep breath in and a nice audible sigh or exhale out. We're going to slowly start to move through our flow now. As you breathe in, reach the arms all the way up. As you breathe out, bend and soften through the knees, draw the chest forward slightly, and then look down towards the ground with your ears positioned just between the upper arms. And then just take a moment to shift your weight. So from the front of the feet, the balls, to the back of the feet and the heels. And you're just going to find that point somewhere in between. Legs are firmly engaged here. The navel and the ribs are drawing back slightly. Have a feeling of connecting and engaging the core. And then as you exhale, bring your hands to your blocks. Lower the chest in towards your thighs. Stay here or inhale, extend the legs. Moving now to a forward fold. Take 2 to 3 breaths here. As you inhale, halfway lift. Keep the crown of your head pointing forward. And then as you exhale, bend the knees deeply. Inhale, lift the arms. Reposition the head between the upper arms. Take another breath in here. Breathe out. And as you breathe in, slowly rise up. Return the hands to the heart with an exhale. An intentional half salutation with Utkatasana or chair pose. We're going to move through that twice more. As you breathe in, reach and stretch the arms up. Check the engagement of your legs, feel the positioning of your body part stacked upon body part to support your posture. As you exhale, bend the knees deeply. Knees move out over the toes, sit bones move back behind the heels. Keep lengthening through the arms. Keep the head soft and settled between the upper arms. And then as you exhale, lower the arms. Lower the chest in towards the thighs. As you inhale, extend the legs or keep them deeply bent. Working out what feels supportive for you. As you inhale, lift halfway. As you exhale, fold forward. One more like that. As you inhale, lift halfway. Bend your knees deeply. Using the strength of the legs and your core, inhale, lift the arms up. Exhale, settle here. Inhale, lift and rise. Look up if it's okay for your neck. Exhale, hands to heart. Last one before we move on. As you inhale, big sweep of the arms, reach up through the fingertips. Legs are engaged. Bottom of the body is grounded as your upper body lifts and rises out of the hips. Exhale, deep knee bend. Inhale here. As you exhale, lower the hands, lower the chest, lower the head. Let the spine and neck relax. Inhale, either stay in this deep bent knee position or start to extend the legs. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, soften or bend the knees. Use the strength and the power of your legs and the core engagement to rise up. Chair pose. Inhale, lift. Exhale, hands to heart. Breathe. Now adding on slightly. As you inhale, lift up. Hands reach up towards the ceiling. As you exhale, bend and bow to the earth. Utkatasana, chair pose. Inhale here, lengthen through the spine. Exhale, hands come to the blocks. Chest moves in towards the thighs. Inhale here, halfway lift. And then as you exhale, using the support of your blocks, round through the spine slightly, draw the knee in towards the nose, the right knee that is. Inhale here. Then as you exhale, start to press and extend out through the right heel. Lower the right foot to the ground. Just draw the blocks back here to frame the front foot. And before we go anywhere, again, we're just talking about the alignment principles here. So back leg is engaged. And as I mentioned earlier, sometimes to help that engagement, think of it as lifting your kneecap up to feel the muscles of the thigh engage. Once the back leg is engaged, bring your attention and awareness to your front leg. Check that your knee is positioned over your ankle. The thigh sometimes, and for some of you, will be at right angles. For others, it will be slightly back of the ankle. So find the positioning for you without moving the knee forward of the ankle. And then once you feel firm and steady in your base, and you're moving with me, inhale, reach all the way up. Arms reach up towards the ceiling. Take 3 breaths here. Really connecting with those alignment cues so that the engagement of the length is going to ensure more stability. As you inhale, release the hands back to the blocks. As you exhale, you're using your back leg as a spring. So spring forward, draw the right knee in towards the nose again. With your breath, lower the right foot to the ground. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Moving into side B now. As you inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, slightly round through the spine as you tuck and curl the left leg in now towards the nose. Have a feeling here of lifting the navel towards the spine, creating some core engagement to help and assist that leg lift. Inhale here, press and extend out through the right heel, and then bend the front knee, lower the back foot to the ground. Check in, using the blocks, using your supports. Check in that the back leg is engaged. Kneecap lifting to help engage the thighs. Your front knee is positioned above your ankle. And then when you feel that stable and steady base, inhale, rise up. Now we're adding on to that alignment. So we have created a stable base or foundation with our legs. Now have a feeling of rising up out of the hips. So creating length in the spine, openness in the chest. Position the hands to support you at the comfort of your shoulders. And take 3 breaths here. Inhale, return the hands to the blocks. Take a moment to settle your weight into the blocks. Feel the engagement of the legs still. And then again, using that back leg as your spring, spring forward without over-exaggerating. Tuck the knee in towards your nose. Hold for just a moment longer. Exhale, release the foot to the floor. Inhale, lengthen through the spine, half forward fold. Exhale, forward fold or Uttanasana. Press down firmly into the feet. Bend the knees deeply. Inhale, extend up through your arms. Exhale, sink a little deeper. Inhale, lift all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart. Slowly moving down to the ground now, incorporating that half salutation to come to the ground. As you inhale, rise and lift up. You could choose to continue using your blocks and props here or go unassisted, your choice here. As you exhale, bend the knees. Position the head between the upper arms. Inhale here. Exhale, lower the hands to either your blocks or the floor. Option to stay deep knee bent or inhale, start to extend through the legs, forward fold. Take a breath in here. Take a breath out. Inhale, halfway lift, either on your blocks or on the floor. Exhale, round through the spine, tuck the knee in towards the nose. Inhale, press and extend the leg away. And then simultaneously bend your front knee as you position your back foot so that your front knee, again, is positioned above your ankle. Inhale here. Exhale. Step the front foot back to downward dog. Take your hands, or ensure your hands are shoulder distance apart and fingers are spread broad and wide. Ensure that your shoulders feel as though they have enough space, and to create more space, you can just take the hands a little wider. Bring your attention now to your feet. Again, ensure that the feet are a hip distance apart and the heels are pressing down to or towards the mat. And then you'll notice this as a stretching through the calves and the hamstrings. If the stretch is too intense, then add a slight bend to the knees just to reduce that tension in the legs. And then again, let's talk about the positioning of your head. Ensure your head is centered between the arms, giving the spine an opportunity to lengthen and the back muscles to stretch. Inhale here. Exhale, holding for the last breath. As you next inhale, shift the body weight forward. So have a feeling of rolling your body like a wave crashing in towards the ocean, so that your shoulders are now positioned out over your wrists. You can almost exaggerate that. Again, if you're feeling any discomfort or tension in the wrists, grip the mat with your fingers. Stay in this full variation of plank pose or lower the knees to the ground. Keep lifting through the navel. Keep reaching through the crown of your head. Draw your shoulders back. And then we're lowering to the ground here. So as you lower to the ground, think about bending your elbows and tucking them in like wings towards your waist. Position your feet a hip distance apart here. Hands are about level with your ribs. Then as you inhale here, engaging the legs by pressing the feet firmly into the mat, start to peel your chest away from the mat. You're just going to hold here for a count of 3. If you want to explore a little further what muscles are working here, then lift the hand. Have a sense of the back muscles doing the work of lifting the upper body away from the mat. 2, 1. Press back to tabletop position. Bring your big toes together, take your knees wide apart. And then you're just going to settle your hips slowly back towards the heels. Position your head where it's comfortable, either supported by your arms that are crossed, or release the arms down by your side depending on how your shoulders are feeling. We have reached the end of a practice, so feel free to stay here for as long as you need. Feel free to track back to the beginning and do this a second or third round, whatever time you have available to you. I hope the concept going slow really resonated with you, and I'm looking really forward to seeing you next time on the mat. Thank you and namaste. I'm so grateful you have joined me today.